Right, one of the things that you had problems with, there's all very well sending people off to hospitals in UK or France, wherever, but if you're very ill, you've got to get there, and also once they've operated on you, made you very weak, you've got to get back. You've had problems before with an airline, Blue Island, and I don't think they're using Blue Island anymore because they didn't have a toilet on the plane and you had to have used a toilet, and that was a problem. So I was concerned before you went, because you weren't very well when you went off to Oxford, but you had to travel. How did you travel there? How did you get there?
Got the plane over in the morning, then I had to find accommodation when I got to Oxford, got the train from Southampton up to Oxford, found accommodation for the night, and then I had to get myself to the hospital for 12 o'clock the next day, straight into surgery.
Did they give you a budget to find accommodation? How did you...
They allowed me £25.
To find accommodation for
the
night?
night.
And
yeah.
how much did it actually cost you?
£25.
Where on earth can you find accommodation at £25? That's a bargain.
Well, I didn't get the money back anyway because it has to take 4 to 5 weeks to go through the state's bank account, and I said no, so I just took the £50.
Right. Coming back, the hospital's got a piece of paper here that says you're fit to fly.
Yeah.
Now, what are the implications of that? You had a ticket to come back provided by the Jersey Hospital to fly?
I did, yes. Well, they booked my ticket when the Oxford Hospital contacted them, the Churchill contacted them to say they were going to discharge me. They booked my flight for me, but they refused to pay for a cab.
Right.
So the Churchill Hospital, the registrar that I was under, that discharged me over the telephone last year, authorised me to have the £110 out of the petty cash from the hospital's petty cash to get the cab from Churchill Hospital in Oxford up to Southampton to the airport.
Now, as we've discussed just 5 minutes ago, your weight, you're now about to say, I would presume that your suitcase was heavier than you, was it, on the plane? I would imagine that's about the case.
18 kilos my suitcase was, yeah.
I mean, when you've got a suitcase, how do you manage that? If you've got to walk across the airport, you've just been operated on, what's you supposed to do?
Well, I couldn't lift it. The taxi driver, bless him, he was one who lifted it for me, and he put it onto a trolley. Then I just wheeled the trolley from the car park across to the road into the airport and asked the lady to lift it.
Because this is all, when I hear them talking at scrutiny about they're having a new hospital and they're going to send people away to specialist hospitals, all this, these are the practicalities which they don't ever discuss. What people, they've had surgery, they're ill, they go, they probably feel twice as ill when they come back. What are people supposed to do? I mean, you've faced this dozens of times, presumably.
It's hard, it's really hard, and especially if you have to do the journey on your own. I've been fortunate in the past when I've been airlifted over for emergency treatment. I've had my mother or my father come with me, but this time for this surgery I have done it on my own, and it has been really difficult. I'm not the strongest of persons, and I have found it really hard. So I don't know how Jersey Hospital's going to do what they've got to do, but they've got a lot of work to do before they have the chance to, I believe.
When you got back here, you had a letter from your other favourite department, the Social Security Department, sending you to go to yet another medical board.
Yep.
And that's the first time I ever met you, was when you were appealing about a medical board decision. Now the latest one, you don't know quite what it is. They've written you a letter, you've got to go and see them on such and such a day. They've no idea why it's about, what it's about.
I don't believe I do know what it's about, no. As you say, I got back from the hospital and I was greeted with this letter, so I will find out at the end of the month.
They never offered to come and see you when they are medical. They don't ever say, well, you're not well, we know you're not well, we'll come and see you.
No.
Because I noticed this letter even asks you if you speak English, doesn't it?
It does, yes. And that's actually the first time I've ever had a letter saying, do you talk English?
Because they've known you long enough, you'd have thought,
have.
and it's addressed personally to you, so you'd have thought the file would have flagged up that you do speak English. I mean, I suppose, if it's a sort of a standard letter. But you'd think they would be sufficient. Also, what I know, they don't tell you what your actual benefits are at the moment. So,
no.
And they've copied a thing there which you've got to send to your own medic, your doctor. He's got to write stuff for you.
Yes, he will have to do it. I do believe that he's already completed a component form for me to receive a personal element claim, which I never received because they said I wasn't entitled to it. This letter that I've recently received might be due to go back to work, asking me to go back to work, because I have had a letter saying in time you will be asked to seek work, employment.
Right. With that, there was a policy decision came out about those people who are on less than, I think it was 30% long-term disability. They don't call it that now, disability. I forgot what impairment or whatever it is the word they use. I forget what
Long-term incapacity.
Long-term incapacity, that's what it is. They keep changing the name. Over a certain percentage or under a certain percentage, you don't know what your percentage is.
I don't know, no.
And they don't tell you in the letter what it is, so...
No. I was told actually that I was signed off for life because of my health, and I wouldn't have to attend another medical board.
Right.
That was about 5 years ago, and then where we met, that was my first one that I had to go to since that time, and now this one's come up.
Well, that was again because that was about giving you extra care, a care assistant or something. Now you've just come back from hospital and you are whatever people say. I mean, they must be able to see from the medication you're taking, but if they were to see the scars that are on your body, they would know that you're a very potentially sick lady. You need care, you need somebody to do the dressings. I'm surprised that they haven't set all that up for you for starters. So you've just come back from hospital. There's no follow-up, there is no follow-up.
Nothing at all, and I do have an infection in the wound as well, so at the minute it's quite hard.
We're talking to you quite rationally. You're not crazy.
No, not at all.
They like to think, oh, cannabis drives you mad. How long is it since you actually smoked any cannabis?
Since I had a proper smoke that I've sat down and eaten a decent meal, it's about 6-7 weeks now.
Okay.
I just get by on soft food, mashed potato, a little bit of spaghetti. It's easy to get down. It doesn't take a lot to digest, and it doesn't cause me any pain when it goes through. And when I drain my bag, it does come through as spaghetti.
Right.
So it's undigested.
I must say, I don't want to dwell on the subject, but I haven't quite worked out how you extract any nutrition at all from the food that goes through your body, because it's not in your body long enough. I've never quite understood.
I obviously take out what my body needs just to get me by, but recently, just before I did go away for surgery, I was admitted into the hospital here, and that was where they told me that the cyst had been reabsorbed for malnutrition and dehydration. My potassium levels were very low, so they had to top me up IV with potassium.
A few months ago, they were suggesting that you actually had TB. Has that died the death, or has it disappeared?
At the minute, I'm waiting to hear. Still under the consultant. I did have TB, then I had the medication, and then it apparently had gone, but now there's talk about it back again. I don't know, I'm waiting to hear.
We've talked about a medical condition, we've talked about grass, but we'll stop here and I want to talk about another sort of grass.